This training is on how to use AI. Now, the reason why this is so important, in my opinion, is because AI is not going away. It's not getting dumber. It's literally helping us run our business, our lives, literally everything. The longer you take to incorporate AI into your life, into your business, the more you're going to struggle. And when I say like you can use it for everything, I haven't found anything that it doesn't work for. So any questions you guys have on like how you can use AI for anything, just let me know, and I'll show you an example on it. But here's what I would not use AI for. I will not use it to make calls for me. Now, I understand we're all, really excited about the opportunities and everything that AI does. If you're a big operation or a wholesaler, let's say an investor maybe, that you don't necessarily care about making money, just kidding, but like that you're just looking for volume, right? You're looking to saturate as many leads as possible and pray and hope something comes out at some point. Then okay, maybe use it for that. That being said, I would never use this to make calls for me, because the list that we pull, if you watched any of my content, right? If you go back and watch the training video I did on spearfishing, it literally hurts you to do that. And I've heard people say, oh, but you can role play with the AI, or you can make actual calls and actually speak to people and actually practice with them, right? Because what AI can't do is get rid of that nervousness that you're going to have, those butterflies, when you start making calls. So you are calling an AI, you're going to be very calm. Yeah, you might stumble or screw things up, but you're going to be calm for the most part because it's not real, right? I want you in the real world because you're going to learn faster. You're actually going to learn the technique so much faster. You're going to get better because the stakes are higher, right? And in my opinion, I like results quickly. I don't like results taking forever to get here. So I want the results right away. And the best way to get results right away is to get the at-bats in real time. I've made tens of thousands of calls in my whole career. Tens of thousands. I've heard every conversation under the sun. You understand? Which is why it makes me such a good investor. Because I heard it all. I heard every objection. I've heard every if, and, or but about these sellers. So it makes me better. Outsourcing that piece, I think it's a very dangerous game. I personally don't recommend it, not even a little bit. Now, all these gurus that are coming out with these AI platforms, guess who the product is, right? It's you. You're the one they're making the money off of, right? Oh, I'm making your business automated. Bullshit. It's not automating anything. All it's doing is separating you from the actual deal source and from the way you're actually going to make money. You understand? Like, to me as an investor, and I tell my students the same thing, I get excited for people that go that way because it's less competition for us. Because if I'm competing against an AI, there's no competition. You understand? Because the AI is not going to be making the calls I can make on the list that I'm targeting. All right. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I don't recommend it for that. I don't recommend it to my people for that. It just makes no damn sense. Now, if you want to do volume and again, just hope and pray, go for it. That's, I think, a decent tool for the hoping and praying tactic. But that's not what we teach here. So what do I use AI for? Number one, I use it to clean my lists. So, for example, we pull the tax delinquent list for Bayer County, for San Antonio, Texas. That list comes back all over the place. I literally upload that Excel sheet into ChatGPT and I tell it, hey, I want you to take column G and I want you to separate that column into 4 columns that has address, city, state, and zip code. And I want you to separate the address appropriately into each column. What this does, for anybody that's worked with Excel, and I had the privilege of working in Excel for 13 years and I hate it. It's a powerful tool, but if I have to manually separate these things, it's going to take me forever, right? And if I have to go and dig through Excel and try to find what the code is to separate these things properly, it's going to take forever. Or I could just ask ChatGPT to do this for me, and it does it in about, 15 seconds, depending on the size of the list. So we did one for St. Louis. 17,000 properties. It did it all in like 25 seconds, I think it was, and it separated into those columns. Now the list comes back to me. Now I can take that list, I can throw it into a service I use. It's called Melissa Data, and Melissa Data gives me zip codes, last sale date, any type of information, owner's name, mailing address. It'll auto populate all those things in there. It's like a few pennies a lead. So I throw it in Melissa Data, gets me all that information. I bring it back to ChatGPT. In ChatGPT, I go in there and I say, eliminate any rows that has LLCs, trusts, or anything that's not a person's name, right? First and last name. So it gets rid of literally everything, like the city of San Antonio. It gets rid of, churches, investment groups, inks, anything that's, Inc. Incorporated. It gets rid of everything like that because I personally don't skip trace those. I don't go after anything that's not a person, an individual. That's where our margins are. We go after individuals that are in distressful situations, not companies or LLCs or anything of the sort. So I'm able to sort through that so much faster because of ChatGPT, where I don't have to be wasting my time doing it. And it filters through all those things. Then I tell it, if column C and column E are the same, I want you to remove those rows. So what it's doing, it's eliminating anybody that lives in the property. I like either absentee or vacant houses, right? So whatever it is, I just don't want the owner to be living in the property because, again, my margins go up. If you guys have done marketing for any type of term of time, you'll know that you can come across a homeowner that's distressed, might be distressed, but their question to you is like, yeah, John, I would love to sell, but where do I go? What do I do? I'm like, shoot, yeah. And in a lot of the states, you may owe taxes, but they can't force you out of the house because of back taxes. So yeah, they'll sell the taxes, they'll do all these things, they'll accumulate, they'll destroy all your equity, but they won't kick you out of the home, especially if you're over 65 or have any type of exemption like that. So there's no real motivation for them. So I want to remove all those. Now all of a sudden it's taking an Excel sheet. Like, for example, we took the Excel sheet from San Antonio that was 64,000 properties. We took it all the way down to 1,800 properties, right? In a matter of minutes. What matters is what do we need it to clean up by, right? So all these things that I just told you is what we use to clean. So we take out any business names, LLCs, trust, anything that's not the person's name. We take out, we extract to just leave absentee owners. We separate to city, state, and zip. And then if it still shows, then tell it to sort by single family residential if it has land, mobile homes, stuff like that, which you should be able to know by now. But yeah, you just use very clear prompts, right? These prompts look something like remove any row where the owner name contains LLC, Inc., or trust. Remove any row where, the address from column C is the same as the address from column F, right? So tell it clearly and it will update the whole thing. And it's actually pretty damn accurate. Another way that we use ChatGPT is for scripts. Now, I don't ask it to build a script. What I ask it to is to help me modify mine. So if you guys have been, again, on any of my training calls, I've given you the framework on how we call. So what I need it to do is sometimes somebody responds to me in a way through either on the phone or text message. I'm like, okay, I know what I want to say, but how can I make this more impactful, right? That's exactly what I put into ChatGPT. I give it a reference. So I'm like, hey, I'm talking to this homeowner. They're in foreclosure. They're about to lose the property in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Been having good conversations. They just told me this, and I want to say this, but in a more impactful way through text messages. And ChatGPT will give me some examples. Now, these are the 3 books I recommend to help you with your sales skills. So it's The New Model for Selling by Jeremy Miner, Influence by Robert Cialdini, and Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. So why do I recommend those? Is because they're very psychological and it goes into human nature. So what I do is with the responses it gives me, and I say, okay, cool, I like it, but can you make it sound more like if you were Chris Voss, how would you say this? Right? If you were Robert Cialdini, how would you influence? If you were Jeremy Miner, how will you use that NEPQ, which is his framework, which is NLP essentially, but NEPQ to communicate this to them, to convince them, to get them to agree to me? And it starts giving you different techniques. Now, the reason why I don't ask it to write scripts for me is because I don't want it thinking for me. I want it to amplify what I already know. The reason for this is because if you have ChatGPT or any AI think for you, it makes you a worse investor because you don't learn shit, right? You're not understanding yourself, what you're doing right or doing wrong. So what I like to do is, again, craft the message myself first, and then I take that message, so I give it some reference. Hey, here's kind of where I want to head. How do I make it more impactful? How do I make it connect better? How do I make it so, this person, so it sounds more like it's a negotiation with Chris Voss, or it's I'm being like Robert Cialdini and I'm trying to influence them to start seeing it my way. That's why I do it. And then the way it gives me the responses, what it does is it helps me open up my mindset to be like, oh, that's a really good way to go about it. I can start implementing this in other scripts that I use for my real estate, right? So it helps so much in creating different variations of text messages, especially if somebody's ghosting you. If somebody's ghosting you, I like using Jeremy Miner's techniques better. He has very interesting ways of just asking you a question that makes you answer, right? So again, his model is NEPQ. And it's the same as NLP. It's all the same techniques. It's just he branded it his way, but it's how to ask questions in ways that entice an answer, right? And not just like kind of yes or no questions. We don't want yes or no answers because it doesn't help us, right? We want them to engage. So it helps you craft those kind of messages. I tell all of my students that when you start making calls and everything, you keep an objections journal with you. So this objections journal is all the things that people object to that maybe you didn't have a good response for, or maybe you did, it doesn't matter, but you keep that objections journal handy, right? And you start writing down all these objections, and then you just spend hours on ChatGPT like, hey, the seller is this is the list, absentee or pre-foreclosure, tax delinquent. This is the scenario. Here's what I said. What could I say to get a better response? What could I say to get them more on my team? So everybody in my company uses this on the daily. I mean, ChatGPT is damn near a homepage for them. I know there's a shit ton of other AIs out there. I don't care. ChatGPT is being constantly updated. It does exactly what I need it to do. Are there any other AIs that are better? Maybe. Who cares? I want productivity, I want speed, and I don't want to be having to learn every single AI out there. So the prompts you give it matter when you give it context and you tell it who do you want it to be like. A good thing to be careful with. There are other salespeople out there like Alex Hermosi, what's that? The Wolf of Wall Street guy, right? Like you got to be careful who you tell it to be like, because some of them are very hardcore salespeople. And when you're dealing with an emotional homeowner that's losing their home to foreclosure or something, they inherited a home that has sentimental value, things like that, you don't want it to be the Wolf of Wall Street or Alex Hermosi. And I love Alex. I mean, he's a fucking genius. That being said, his style doesn't work for this. His style is more for B2B, right? And it's great for that. But B2C and emotional C, you can't go at it with logic, right? You got to go at it with more emotions. And especially that we do a lot of airship issues. So you're dealing with people that inherited a home and they're struggling. Like, I have a student with a scenario that they're ready to close and everything, but the mom, she's got dementia, she's got all these things, and she's losing her mind over the sale of the house. And he's like, well, what do I do? Well, these would be perfect scenarios. I gave him a technique that I would use, but these would be perfect scenarios to drop it in ChatGPT. Be like, hey, I want to be empathetic to the daughter, but at the same time, I want to show her like, this is serious. Like I understand what your mom is going through, but you having to deal with this home and all the debt you have and the house sitting vacant, like this doesn't help you. This is not getting better for you. This is getting worse. And let's fast forward. The mom passes away. The daughter's going to be an even worse case mentally. This doesn't help them, right? So this will give you better ideas and a back and forth with ChatGPT. Like I legit open up the app on my phone, hit the mic, and I have a conversation with Chat, like if I was having it with literally anybody else. You understand? So this is the power of the service of ChatGPT and why you need to be using it on a regular basis. But again, I don't use it to tell me what to do. I use it to help me craft the message that I'm already creating, right? Because I want to get smarter. I don't want to completely rely on ChatGPT to think for me. So I hope that lands. I can't stress that enough. Don't use it to think for you. It's a tool for you. It's not a replacement. You understand? It amplifies your skill. Don't use it to completely replace you, because then you're going to be the one that's useless. And then another thing that I use it for, so I coach people across the whole country, and there's legal issues all over the place, right? You have some states that are coming out trying to ban wholesaling. Other ones don't allow for like certain airship transfers, affidavit of airships, things like this. This is where I started using ChatGPT lately, is I take it and I show it, hey, in San Antonio, in Texas, we use these affidavit of airships. So I upload the document to get all the heirs on board. We take it to title, close on it, and we can bypass the probate process. Can I do the same in Illinois? Can I do the same in Oregon, in Missouri, right? So it would tell me, well, you got to be careful with this, this, and this. And that's like, I understand the law, but could I do it this way anyway, right? The law says one thing, but I'm buying the real estate. So right now I have a student in Portland that sent me a letter from them banning wholesaling in Portland. And it's, the bill, all this stuff. I took the bill, dropped it in ChatGPT. I'm like, tell me what this bill says about wholesaling. It broke down all the bullet points. And I was like, does this stop me from doing what I do? I said, no, because what I do is not wholesale. I double close. I do hoteling essentially. So I don't care. So that whole law came out, and in a matter of 2 seconds, I didn't even have to read it. I just upload it. It gave me the bullet points. Does it affect what I do? No, it doesn't. As long as you keep doing it your way, you're fine. Done. That's it. It came and it went. Took 2 seconds. And the same with, we're using it a lot for like family trees. Like what is that word always escapes my mind. I'm sorry. But it's the intestacy chart. So intestacy chart, what that breaks down to is pretty much like how do ownership stakes in a property get passed down, right? So if the father dies, does it all go to the mother? Does it go to the mother 50% and 50% to the kids? How does it all get broken down? So I can go into Tennessee, because we're starting to market in Tennessee, and ask, give me a chart for Tennessee to help me break down what this looks like here. Because then when I'm using land records and things of the sort, I'm able to go in ChatGPT. I'm able to ask it. This is another cool thing. I'm able to take a link of where I get my land records in Bexar County, because that's where I build my whole business. I take the land records in Bexar County. I take that link. I drop it in ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, here's where I get all my land records. Give me the same link for Nashville. Give me the same link for Chattanooga, Knoxville, for St. Louis. And it'll give me the same exact link. So I don't have to do what I used to do, which is spend all day Googling, going through the court, going through the clerk website. I don't do any of that shit anymore. Now I just find the link that I've been using in Texas, drop it in there, and it tells me exactly where to go in those other states, in those other cities. Because every county is different, every city is different. So instead of wasting hours in research, I get the data and the information I need in seconds. I had a student right now in Orlando that a service was trying to charge him $4,500 for the tax delinquent list of Orlando, Florida. $4,500 for the delinquent list. I was like, you had your damn mind. So I took how I get the delinquent list in Bexar County, dropped it in ChatGPT. I'm like, where can I get this in Orlando? Gave me the link, clicked on it. It was right there. Send it to him. I'm like, look, 10 minutes. Free. But I'll give it to you for 2,200. But insane the amount of money and time that it saves you when you know how to search for the right things, how to find foreclosure listings, how to find tax delinquents, how to find probates, pre-probates, anything of the sort that requires you going straight to the county that I would not use a list provider for, I'm using ChatGPT for. All right. So it is tremendous. Again, the amount of research, everything that it can give you that it would help you to just even. Here's another quick example. I have a coach in San Antonio. He gave us a bunch of contracts, took those contracts, threw them into ChatGPT. I'm like, tell me, if you're a real estate attorney in Tennessee, what can I not use out of this contract? It's like, well, this law doesn't work in Tennessee. We got to modify this. We got to modify that. Now I have a good understanding. When I go to my real estate attorney here, I can be like, hey, I can compare notes, but I'm better prepared. You understand? And I can see how far I can take something. And it's pretty damn accurate when it comes to all those things. I've had attorneys that tell me all the same thing. So again, guys, ChatGPT or any of these AI tools, they're beyond powerful. You have to use them on a daily basis. You have to get creative on the problems that you have and how to solve them. But I'm going to nail this again just because I want to make sure it hits home. Think of the solution first, then use ChatGPT to refine the process. Okay? Don't try to ask ChatGPT, hey, what's the best list for me to market to? Because guess what it's going to do? It's going to research all the internet. It's going to find all the guru training out there. And it's going to say, oh, you should pull an absentee list. Right? Like, no. You need to understand yourself, which is like pretty much why I teach the way I teach. I want you to be a real estate investor yourself. I don't want you to depend on anybody on how to understand what to invest in, what to do. Learn what it is and then use the tool to make you better, right? So again, we went over it. We used to clean our list, filter down our list, get all the data that we need. Market research, you can also use it for market research. If you watch pillar number 1 of my training, or you just get the PDF, whatever you have, I show you that you need months of inventory, medium price point, hot zip codes, all of that you can get from ChatGPT. You just tell it exactly what you're looking for. It gives you the references where it's pulling it from. It gives you all that. You can give it orders where it's like every month on this day, I want you to tell me, send me an email with the updated information on the months of inventory, medium price point, all this, seeing what the trend is. You can have it analyze previous months. So it'll be like in the last 6 months, how's the median price point been affected in San Antonio? How's the months of inventory been affected in San Antonio? Now, is it going to be entirely accurate as you using, let's say, the MLS data? No, but it's going to be consistent. So that is more important to me than, pinpoint accuracy. Like the median price, 310. If I pull it from the MLS, it says 290. I'm not going to freaking cry about it. You understand? Like, we're not oceans apart. If it was 310, but when I pull it, it comes out 410, all right, we have $100,000. That's a massive difference. But 20 grand, 10 grand, it's not going to ruin anything. Same with months of inventory. 3.2 versus 2.7, I'm not going to cry about it, right? It's still low. 3.2 versus 4.5, that's a massive difference. So again, for all of these things, guys, efficiency makes you a better investor, makes you smarter, and it allows you to really grow and scale your business at paces that will blow your damn mind. Yeah, guys, that's how I'm using AI and how I'm not using AI. So I hope this was helpful. If no other questions are coming through, you can always just drop any comments on this video later, and I will still respond to you and give you some feedback and stuff like that. If you want to schedule a strategy call and see how maybe the mastermind that I have would help you, just go to pwmcall.com and we will hop on a call to make sure if it's a good fit for you and myself, because if I don't like you, you're not going to join. There's nowhere for you guys to sign up for a mastermind without talking to me first. So if you want to see if that's a good fit where you get my coaching and guidance as you build your business, I would love to jump on a call with you guys. Other than that, any other topics you guys want me to hit on the Facebook group, let me know. We'll do some polls and stuff like that. But I've done plenty of trainings on my YouTube channel. Go check them out. And anything else you guys need from me, just reach out. Here to help as much as possible. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next week.